I'll try to edit it together.
Just fuck it.
I think fuck it is a good motto for this podcast.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hello everybody, welcome to the manliest podcast this side of the known universe, where we discuss men, their perfect bodies and beautiful smiles. No homo. As always, I am your host Kinsey, and I am joined by my lovely co-host, my dear Jared.
Hello.
And we are straight as a pretzel. The gay agenda for this week is what it's like to be bi, our personal experiences, the Kinsey scale, and the bicycle. So, let me just start. Does anything on this list confuse you?
I know the Kinsey scale, I do not know the bicycle.
As always, you can find that and more with timestamps to individual topics and links where applicable in the episode description. Okay, so, how are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Tired, sweaty. I've been like a manly gardener today, getting the house ready for some guests to come over and eat some namis. So I was all glistening. Smelled very, very, very manly as well. How are you?
I'm fine.
Stunned silence. I don't know if you're like, yes, or like, oh god, no, because you know what I look like, so.
Well, you don't have a webcam. So I haven't really seen you in motion, and that's really different than seeing somebody just on the photo, especially since photos are posed.
Fair enough. I don't take very good photos though, so probably doesn't work in my favor. But yeah, I'm getting a webcam. I promise. I just haven't gotten one yet.
You can also try getting a smell cam.
A Smellovision!
For your gardening work.
Indeed. How are you?
Yeah, so again, I'm fine. Again, before the recording, I complained because, once again, I tried programming something that is simple. It's just I haven't considered the complexity of it. Complexity as in runtime. So, right now, my program is, I have a working Gomoku game. Gomoku being like big tic-tac-toe. The only problem is that you would have to wait couple hundred years for your opponent to move. On the other hand, you can also count it as just win by starvation.
Wouldn't your opponent win though, because it's a computer, so you would starve to death before it moved?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, so my strategy is working.
Oh, I welcome our new robot overlords. They take 200 years to move.
Our teacher told us that somebody tried to develop their own game using AI, like proper artificial intelligence, neural networks. And the way he set up is he had the program trained against itself. And because of the way he set up the goal, the game would just immediately propose the draw. He thought that a good algorithm should win roughly half of the time, so the algorithm just proposed the draw.
So then it would win exactly 50% of the time. Everyone would win.
And there is one more thing. I can put the link in the description for later. Somebody wrote basically a min-max for Nintendo games. Min-max meaning it pretty much sees the future. And in one circumstance, I think playing Tetris, when it just put itself into the corner, it paused the game, so it won't lose.
Is that the AI equivalent of rage quitting? I'm just gonna sit here forever.
It's rage pausing.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So going back?
Yeah, we've got a bit of a time limit today, so let's move along, I suppose. Okay, well, our first topic. What's it like to be bi? Or pan? Or interested in multiple genders?
So, you wanna start?
Sure, I'll go first. It's fun. I mean, all of the options are open. From like a just like everyday standpoint, I can go to the store and be like, oh yeah, check out that hot dude or that hot chick. and it's totally cool. It's fun to mess with my friends too, especially people who meet me for the first time and they don't realize what my sexuality is. They'll just be like, "Wait, do you actually think that person is attractive based on like whatever their gender is or whatever?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, totally." The other day, or I guess it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, Katie went to a concert with some of her friends to go see someone I've never heard of. He's a country and western singer, but apparently he's young and hot and attractive. Actually, I haven't looked him up. I should look him up while I'm talking. But all of the girls came in and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna go pick up cute boys." And I was like, "Bring me back one." And they all laughed. And then one of them was like, "Wait, is he serious?" And Katie was like, "Yeah, he's serious. He'd be okay with it as long as we brought him back one." So it's fun. He's not that attractive. He's all right. Luke Bryan. I don't know. Some of these pictures are better than others.
I've seen better.
So from that perspective, just like day-to-day living, it's a lot of fun for me because I don't care. I'm just completely open and out there all the time. So it never scares me. It never makes me feel like I'm painted into a corner or like anybody doesn't like me. Like if someone doesn't like me, then I'm just like, fuck them. Don't need them in my life. If you don't like me for who I am, then I don't want you in my life.
And if you like somebody, you also can think just fuck them.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's kind of the surface level, the outward appearance. And when it comes to just like relationships too, I've never found it any more or less complicated than a normal relationship. Like being in a relationship with anyone is complicated. It doesn't matter if you're the same gender, different genders, if there's any kind of... Actually, I've never been with anyone who was trans. I don't think that would make a difference either. You know, relationships are complicated. So being bi has never made my relationship more or less complicated. And I've had sex with men that was good and men that was bad, and sex with women that was good and bad. Like, that aspect of it is just the relationship that you have and can make and the experiences that you guys have. I've never experienced anything different because of my sexuality from a relationship. What about you?
Yeah, so first of all, my experience will be fundamentally different simply because I've never really been in a serious relationship, or for the fact, any relationship, if you want to be precise. But still, I agree that messing with people is just so fucking great. Just being comfortable with being yourself and seeing others trying to figure you out, and especially since most of them still think within the binary categorization of gay and straight, that can mess with them even more if they don't expect it. Because I've had some people say to me is that they thought I was gay, but because of other things they know that I'm not, because I'm obviously attracted to women, and I just look at them as, you sweet, sweet child.
The world has protected you, it seems.
Yeah. And, well, I cannot really blame them because I used to think similarly. I don't want to talk about it right now because I want actual coming out to be a separate topic, or maybe even two. But still, yeah, just being comfortable with who you are. US is even more prudish than here.
Yep. Especially where I am in the South. It's real bad. Real bad.
Exactly.
Was it difficult for you in like high school? I know you've talked a little bit about your experience of when you realized, but I mean, I've got a few years on you to have reflected on this stuff a lot longer and have changed. But I was just thinking about my high school experience. And high school was a little bit scarier for me because it's like, oh no, what if my friends don't like me or think I'm weird? But high school is kind of when I got this attitude where I just was like, you know what, fuck it, fuck everyone. If they don't like me for who I am, then I don't need them in my life. But before I had that sort of realization, it was a little bit scary. Like, oh no, what if they don't like me, or they're mean to me, or I get bullied? Although I beat the shit out of several people, so no one really ever bullied me.
Good for you. I didn't really have that problem per se, because back in high school I didn't really understand that I'm by myself. I pretty much came to that realization towards the very end where I didn't really have contact with anybody because at the end of high school, we didn't really have any classes. We just were preparing for the exams. So I didn't have the occasion. And then at university, because it's not high school anymore, it's a university, people are different, and I could start out clean. I decided you can just see me as who I am, no hiding. And even though I have most people, only couple people know explicitly, as in I've told them, hey, I'm bi, I'm pretty sure you would have to be blind to not notice it. One of the people that I did explicitly came out to just look at me and said, well, duh.
Oh.
Okay, give me a sec.
Sure.
Okay. I just had to turn on the light because it's getting dark here. Because of the weather. Normally it would be still light for another hour.
It's middle of the day here, so and there's not a cloud in sight. It's supposed to rain, but the sky was clear when I walked into my office.
The weather is not that bad, it's just cloudy. I drove my bike to Ikea today. 15 kilometers one way. Ate 2 hot dogs, went back.
Pretty much burned off those hot dogs while riding your bike. What was the point? Were they really good hot dogs?
Well, they are pretty good, but mostly I just wanted to get out.
Okay. I think that we should, at a different time, go through our sexual history, if you're okay with being that open.
I can go through it right now. I'm a virgin. Done.
Okay. Alright. Well, that's easy. I could go through my sexual history at some point if you want to, but that's practically a whole episode. I was a very naughty boy. Very, very naughty boy. Like, really naughty.
Would it have to be like a special episode? 3 hour long?
I don't know if it would be that long. I could probably condense it to 30 or 40 minutes.
Do you have pictures?
No. Maybe I could find a few, like, buried in old Facebook posts or something. I mean, when I was in high school, social media was, like, Facebook was, like, just starting to become a thing, and I hated MySpace, so I never used it.
MySpace, you're that old, come on. Actually, when I was in high school, which was 6 years ago, Facebook was only starting here. We used to have our own Polish platform that was more targeted towards 12 to 16 year olds, designed specifically around schools and class systems, etc. And even in high school, after Facebook took off, I wasn't really that active. So that's not a problem for me either.
Yeah, I barely use Facebook now. I mean, I'm friends with, like, my family, and occasionally they send me stupid shit for me to ignore and block. But it's like, gotta be friends with them on Facebook, otherwise they pitch a fit, and it's just not worth fighting them about it. It's been almost a decade since I've been out of high school. Jesus, I'm an old man.
I use Facebook pretty much only as a messenger and also for basically as a forum for our university. And every now and then looking at pictures of other people and being jealous.
Fancy. We should keep moving.
Yeah. Keep moving. 20 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, so the next thing, Kinsey scale. Does it really apply to you?
No. I mean, I guess technically I sit at number 3, squarely in the middle. But I don't really feel like it applies. Like, if the Kinsey scale was a circle, I think that would make a little more sense to me because everything would be connected. But even before, like, I came to the realization that, like, actually, I'm pansexual. I was pretty much in the middle on the Kinsey scale.
Yeah, for me, it's pretty much the moment I realized what's going on. I was always a 3. But I still find Kinsey scale kinda useful, especially because of the bicycle. So bicycle, as the name may suggest, is periodic change of attraction for bi people. So you being pan, you probably don't really experience it, but for bisexuals, you can quite clearly observe the change of attraction, basically the Kinsey oscillation on the Kinsey scale.
Is it slow? Like, is it slow, or does it just like jump? Like one day you're a 0 and another day you're a 6?
It's not that big. It's huge. For me, it's maybe oscillating between 2 and 4, like every month or something like this. Pretty much the reason for it is that even, well, you're a psychologist, so you would know more about it. But even monosexual, so straight people that are either straight or gay, they still experience like change in how attracted they are, how much of attraction, sexual attraction they feel.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never experienced that because I've always just been like, yep, that's hot. He's hot. She's hot. They're hot. We're all hot. It's not true. Not everybody's hot, but you get what I'm saying. For anybody who's listening that happens to not know what the Kinsey scale is, it was created in the late 40s, early 50s? I think late 40s. When there was a group of psychologists and doctors and things doing research on human sexuality. And it was created to sort of measure a person's level of homo to heterosexuality. And if you're a 0, you're exclusively heterosexual, and if you're a 6, you're exclusively homosexual, and all of the numbers in between are the scale. And it covers incidental sexuality, which is like, I got drunk one time, or there just happens to be like this one really hot person, or one person that really got close to me that's on the other end of your scale, whatever it is that you're attracted to, they're the opposite. And so you did it with them, or maybe like you had an experimental phase, like that kind of covers incidental homosexuality. And then 2, 3, and 4 are the bisexual range. And if you're a 2, you're more heterosexual, but you find plenty of people or a decent amount of people from the same sex attractive as well. If you're 3, you're squarely in the middle. And if you're 4, you're more homosexual, but you do find heterosexual people attractive, or members of the opposite sex attractive from time to time. So, and you said you oscillate between 2 and 4?
Yeah, so allow me maybe to rephrase it. So, because of simply hormones, attraction to other people is sometimes more noticeable than others. If your... How are they called? Gender hormones?
Yeah, sure. I was going to say, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what the name is. You talking about like testosterone and stuff?
Testosterone for men, estrogen for women?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, if the levels of those hormones are higher, your mind is more occupied on sexual attractions to other people. And that is pretty much, as far as I know, more or less noticeable for everyone. And most people just disregard it, because it's kinda normal. And what is interesting is, for many bi people, those levels of attraction are separate for different genders. And then it becomes much more noticeable, because suddenly you have a level to compare. So if one day I am less attracted to simply anyone because I'm not in the mood, that is pretty much the perfect phrase, it's not that noticeable. But if one day I'm suddenly much more attracted to men than women, then I have this level to compare. And this is basically called the bicycle.
Interesting. Yeah, I typed bicycle into Google, and I just got a lot of bicycle stuff. Bicycle repair shops and things like that in my area. So I'd probably have to dig a little bit to find something.
If you just type in bisexual bicycle, you will see a lot of hits, mostly from Reddit.
Okay. I'll look up some of that stuff later and just explore it a little bit more.
Yeah, and on our bisexual pretty much on the clock, every 5-6 days there will be somebody popping up saying, hey, I'm experiencing this weird thing, is this normal? And everybody will just respond, yep, bicycle. Anything else you want to add?
No, I don't think so. You can shoot us an email at straightpretzel@gmail.com or send a tweet to @straightpretzel. All of this plus more can be found at straightpretzel.wordpress.com.
Our intro music is Disco Medusae by Kevin MacLeod, provided free of charge on Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. Find out more at incompetech.com. And remember, if your would go gay for list is longer than 5 people, you ain't straight. But you're in great company. Stay fabulous.